Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, women and men, everybody, welcome to Sports Pieces. Welcome to Sports Pieces. It's another sunny day. It's about 91, 93 degrees here down in Atlanta, Georgia. And today we jumped on the third segment, segment 3 of soccer football Mount Rushmore. So it's a beautiful day. We're going to have lots of fun. What I need you to do before we dive into this topic is go down to the comment box, try to comment and subscribe, follow, like, and keep your notifications on because we're down to the top 3. You know, it's 5. We had the first 2. You all know number 5 was Cristiano Ronaldo. Number 4 was my man Lionel Messi. And so today we're going to let you know who the third person is. It's very exciting. It's a very exciting day, and I know everyone's kind of guessing, hoping, but we've been looking at the data. We've been looking at the different data. You know, looking at different settings, different pieces, just puzzling everything together. So we now have the third best player ever. The third best player ever. We haven't. So just please don't forget. So try to subscribe and keep your notifications on. And I need your comments as well. Now, before we dive into this topic, we're going to do something a little different today. Because see, life is not fair. But if you're breathing, you're achieving. So since we're breathing and we've got people who are breathing with us, we've got, you know, we're all achieving. We've achieved one way or the other. So we're going to touch on a topic, something called the laws of impenetrability. I hope some of you have heard of it. Impenetrability is a concept that the Greek philosopher Aristotle kind of touched on in terms of talking about space. He said, it's just impossible for two things to occupy the same space at the same time. You can't. So I know the topic about Mount Rushmore soccer or basketball, football is very touchy. Everybody wants that guy to be the number one, the good. Everybody wants to be top 5 on the mount, but it's impossible. It's like Socrates says, you can't have 2 persons in the same space or 5, or 10 persons in the space where 5 people belong. But that doesn't mean these 10 people or 20 or 30 persons are not just as capable as, you know, the top 5. So we're going to give credit. We're going to do something. We're going to do something called honorable mention. Honorable mentions is something where you give credit to people who could be just as great as these people, or who are just as great as these 5. But unfortunately, they cannot be amongst these 5. The good news is that we're going to have top 10 down the line, or top 20. So hopefully we'll have some of these honorable mentions within the top 10, 15, or 20. So we start from South America, round up to Central North America, in Europe, and then we end up in Africa. So in South America, we start with Brazil, the great Brazil. The first honorable mention in Brazil is Ronaldo Nazario, it's R9. The second on that list is Zico. The third on that list is Socrates. The fourth on that list is Romario. And the fifth on that list is Neymar. We skip from Brazil to Argentina. In Argentina, our first honorable mention is Mario Kempes. The Mario Kempes, we got George Burruchaga. After George Burruchaga, we got Gabriel Batistuta. After Gabriel Batistuta, we've got Angel Di Maria. Angel Di Maria. From Argentina, we skip straight up to Mexico City, Mexico. And in Mexico, we got one player. It's Hugo Sanchez. From Mexico, we skip to Panama, just next door. We're still in the canal, right? In Panama, we've got Dali Valdez. Deli Valdez. Those of you who haven't heard of him, Deli Valdez plays. He can play for Paris Saint-Germain and a few other clubs in Europe, but check out Deli Valdez. And as we skip from Central America and South America, we cross the canal right into England. We cross the Atlantic Ocean right into England, Queensland. In England, our first honorable mention in England is Bobby Charlton. Bobby, the great legendary Bobby Charlton. After Bobby Charlton, we've got the goal scoring king, Gary Lineker. The Englishman, Gary Lineker. After Gary Lineker, we've got the great John Barnes. With John Barnes, we've got David Beckham. Bennett like him. David Beckham. And after David Beckham, I'm going to include my man Chris Waddle for his skillful dribbling tactics. So it's Chris Waddle. We sum up in England and cross the canal, English Canal, and we go into the Netherlands. It's my favorite country when it comes to soccer. I just love Dutch football. Been loving Dutch football for a long time. Because the Dutch has a very good feeder program where the youth program where they start very early with these young kids and groom them. By the time they're 17, 18, they're ready for the pro league. So we touch Dutch land, and we start off in Dutch land with the great Dutch man, Johan Cruyff. Johan Cruyff. And after Johan Cruyff, we come down to our own, one of the youngest to ever retire, who could have been sitting in his first place, probably the world best striker ever. He retired at age 28. Michael van Basten. Michael van Basten. After Michael van Basten, we come down to your boy Ruud Gullit. Ruud Gullit. So that's Johan Cruyff, Michael van Basten, and Johan Cruyff. After those three, we cross just next door, the border. We just drive right through the border into Allemagne, Lola Allemagne, Frenchman says. This is Germany. Going to Germany, we started with the legendary Franz Beckenbauer. After Franz Beckenbauer, we touch on our boy, Gerd Müller. After Gerd Müller, we touch on our boy, Klose. After Klose, we touch on Michael Schmarschkart, his goalkeeper, one of the best ever. Michael Schmarschkart. And after Michael Schmarschkart, guess who we've got? The great Jürgen Klinsmann. Jürgen Klinsmann, the German international. From Germany, we skip to Italy. We come down a little bit in the southern part of Europe into Italy. And in Italy, we've got who about it but the great Roberto Baggio. We got Paolo Maldini, Roberto Baggio, Paolo Maldini, and Gianluca Vialli. Gianluca Vialli. Those are all three in Italy. From Italy, we go next door. From Italy, we right and just skip right through to Spain. We got Xavi, the great Xavi, and Iniesta. Xavi and Iniesta. Who can you choose from? Spain, those two. And then we leave Spain. We climb up to La France. Le Rouge, Le Bleu, Le Rouge, Le Bleu. Le Rouge, Le Bleu, Le Blanc, Le France. Numero 4, we go into France, where our first pick in France is nobody else but the great Zazou, Zinedine Zidane, Zazou. Next is that Zazou is our own, Michel Platini. Michel, some say it's Michael Platini, but it's Michel Platini, right? The English say Michel, or English say Michael, the French says Michel. That's my man Michel Platini. And after Michel Platini, we've got our own Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry from Martinique / Guadeloupe / France. Thierry Henry. Mbappe is still on the rise. I'm quite sure Mbappe is going to make this list, but we're still watching him, okay? But that's the three from France. Zazou, Platini, and Henry. All right? So from France, where do we go? We skip up. We come up to Eastern Europe, Hungary, Bulgaria. In Bulgaria, we got nobody but the great Hristo Stoichkov. Hristo Stoichkov is our man in Bulgaria. From Bulgaria, we slide right down to Romania, just next door, bordering countries, right? So Bulgaria, we are in Romania. And guess who we got in Bulgaria? Legendary Georgi Hagi. So Georgi Hagi is from Romania. And these are our selections. Now, one last person I want to mention here, he's from Croatia. Call him Davor Suker. Davor, D-A-V-O-R, Suker, S-U-K-E-R. A complete wizard, complete goal wizard. So Davor Suker sums it up in Europe. From Europe, we slide down to North Africa. North Africa, we start with the great Hussam Hassan from Egypt and Mohamed Salah. We move up to Algeria, Rabah Maja. From Algeria, we come down to Tunisia. You got Akraf. I can't pronounce his name right, but Akraf. That's Akraf. And you got people like from Morocco, Zagoundou, how you call it, Aziz Boudoubala. You got great players that came up from Timoumi. These guys from Morocco. These are all honorable mentions. These are guys who, if given chance, who if they were recruited at an early age, would have made an impact to make noise for the top 5 spots. But for now, we're going to give them honorable mention. So after North Africa, from North Africa, we slide down to West Africa. We slide down a little bit, the continent. Come down to Cameroon. They used to be Africa's giant, but now they're in Nigeria, battling for that position, Nigeria and Cameroon. So time will tell. But in Cameroon, we started with the great Samuel Eto'o. I call him the goal eater Samuel Eto'o. And after Samuel Eto'o, we got our own Roger Miller, the magician, Roger Miller. After Roger Miller, we got the great Thomas Nkono. Thomas Nkono inspired so many goalies around the world. He was Cameroon goalkeeper, and everybody wanted to be Nkono around the globe. But it's only one Nkono. So after Nkono, we slide down to Nigeria, right next to Cameroon. In Nigeria, we got J.J. Okocha. After J.J. Okocha, we've got Nwankwo Kanu. And third on that list is the big man himself, the goal-scoring machine for Nigeria all time, Rashidi Yekini. Rashidi Yekini. Those are the 3 in Nigeria. From Nigeria, we slide down to Ghana. Ghana is Africa's soccer pride. They always coming with a new team, and they're always proving to Africa that they will remain a team to contend with on the continent. So in Ghana, we started with the sorcerer, or the sorcerer. We'll call him the sorcerer, right? Abedi Pele Ayo. Abedi Pele Ayo. Abedi Pele, oh Muaye. Abedi Pele. Next to Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah. Man from Eintracht Frankfurt. Yeboah, the lefty. From Yeboah, come down to Michael Nshane, the dynamic midfielder. Michael Nshane, come down to GN, all-time highest scorer in World Cup from the continent. 8 goals in World Cup from the continent. GN. From Ghana, we slide up to Senegal. In Senegal, we got El Hadji Diouf, the controversial Senegalese international player, El Hadji Diouf. From Senegal, we go right next door to Mali. We got Seydou Keita and Salif Keita. Salif Keita played, I think, in the 60s, 70s. This guy was a magician as well. So we got Seydou Keita and Salif Keita. From Mali, come down to Guinea Conakry, where we got our own Titi Camara. We got Petit Souris. We got the stylish kingpin Salam Sow, Guinean international. And from Guinea, we slide up to Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. In Côte d'Ivoire, Got Didier Drogba. Next to Drogba, we got Youssoufou Fofana. Youssoufou Fofana. After Youssoufou Fofana, we got Abdoulaye Traoré. Youssoufou Fofana, and Didier Drogba. From Ivory Coast, we slide up to Togo. Next to Togo. In Togo, we got Emmanuel Adebayor. And Joe Tess. In Togo, we slide on the other side to Sierra Leone. In Sierra Leone, we got the great Mohamed Kalon. We got Jean Tumbu and Junior Paré. Mohamed Kalon, Jean Tumbu, Junior Paré. All right? And then from there we go to Africa's oldest republic. Liberia. In Liberia, our honorable mentions are Christopher Ray, and James Salensa Diba, Liberia's celebrated superstar. James Salensa Diba. And then from Liberia, we slide all the way down to South Africa. We're summing it up now. We're about to climax and get to the third best player of all time. But these honorable mentions need to be mentioned. And we've got to give these guys credit because, trust me, check out these guys' highlights, the name I'm putting forth. Google them, go to ChatGPT and see. Watch their performances, watch their highlights. They are better. Most of these guys are better than our top 5 in lots of ways. So check them out, right? But in South Africa, we stick on a country called Zambia. The Zambia Red Devils. And that's Kalusha Bwala. You never heard of him? Now you're hearing about him. Kalusha Bwala. Escaped from Zambia and flipped all the way up to Central Africa, Central East Africa, Chad, the Republic of Chad. This guy played for Nantes. And prior to our third best player all time going to Europe, this is all the name we heard on Fast Track, saw on Eurosport, and Canal Plus. Japhet Indora. And another player I want to best mention is Eugene Kabongo. So check out these guys, Eugene Kabongo. Check out these names, all right? That sums it up for our honorable mention. So now what we're going to do is talk about the third best player all time. Yes, that's what I said. And before put this name forth, I had to drink some water. Because this guy hails from a country that is unknown to soccer. And when I say unknown, this country never played in AFCON, the African Cup of Nations. They never played in World Cup. They were completely just in the dark when it comes to international soccer. Yeah, there were tons of talents in that country, but because it was not Cameroon or Nigeria or Ghana or Morocco or Tunisia, one of those big countries, or even Senegal, soccer players were unknown in there. And then what happened? This is what happened. A young man growing up in the borough of Monrovia, capital, in a rundown community called Clara Town, from a poor family, poor but humble family. This man was raised by his grandmother. He had 11 siblings where his grandmother had to fend for them. I mean, a typical Liberian style for, hustling, blue collar family people who striving just to make ends meet. And at age 15, he managed to pull a third division team to second. But when he did that, when he accomplished that feat, one of the top 2 teams in the country, called Invincible 11, recruited him. He went to Invincible 11. What happened is that he was snapped. He didn't even end the season completely. A team from Cameroon, one of the top teams in Cameroon, Tony and Clara Club, was going around West Africa recruiting players in preparation for African Club Championships, tournaments, and so forth. They were trying to build that team. And fortunately, this young guy was on the rise. in Liberia, and they snap him, took him to Cameroon. In Cameroon, this young man started a lit fire. I mean, he was putting Cameroon on notice and saying, hey, I'm from Liberia. It's the oldest African country. You don't turn your back on us. And Roger Miller, the great Roger Miller, that was going at it. He was probably at the end of his career now, probably ending his career around 1988. Saw him play and was highly impressed. And Roger Miller crowned him after a game and told him, say, you are Africa's diamond. You're Africa's black diamond. You're the black diamond of Africa, young man. Roger Miller didn't stop there. He called the Cameroonian coach, the Frenchman, Claude Leroy, and told Claude, say, I saw a kid, you might want to come and watch. He got magic feet. And Claude Leroy came and watched Tony Clara Club play. And after the game, Claude Leroy picked up the phone and called Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger was the English coach coaching AS Monaco in France at the time. Arsene Wenger asked for a clip. Claude Leroy and Roger Miller sent this clip to Arsene Wenger, and right there and then Arsene Wenger said, we need him. So this guy went to Monaco, and in Monaco, when he announced to the world, I'm coming. I am coming. And it didn't take no time. Paris Saint-Germain did everything within their means to steal him from Monaco. When he got in Paris Saint-Germain, in Paris, he said, I've arrived. And after that announcement, AC Milan, the big Italian side, snapped him. So these guys didn't even give this young man a chance to even wet his feet or wet his beak. They just kept pushing him, just pulling him. And he kept adopting. Now, one thing I will say, a lot of people don't know about this young man. This young man was an outside right, because he had terrific speed and terrific dribbling skills. So he was playing from the outside and just destroying people on the wings. But when he got to Europe, Arsene Wenger put him in the middle, made him a top striker, number 9, an attacker. So he changed his entire position and relegated his dribbling to just scoring. So instead of like just embarrassing people on the right lane or the right wing, he was in the middle where he had only one person to contain. And it was embarrassing for a lot of European defenders. I'm telling you, the great Ronald Koeman, all these guys, man, great German defenders. I mean, he embarrassed so many defenders in Europe that in 1995, he was selected. He broke every record. The world best player, FIFA best player, France best player, Africa best player. And before the end of the century, he was voted Africa's best soccer player of the century and United Nations player of the year in 95. I mean, this guy won he won every title in 95. But I'm going to be honest with you, he didn't just become the world best player in 95. Record has it that this guy was the best player in Europe by 1990. So throughout the 90s, he dominated European soccer or world soccer. The downside is that he was from a country, the team did not make it to the World Cup. Liberia never made it to the World Cup. Liberia never had a formidable side. Liberia had been through civil war where even though the team was building up before the Civil War, but the war just came and broke it down. So before this guy could become even recognized, or the team recognized in Liberia, the Civil War just brought everything down. But he didn't end it. In Europe, he's like, okay, my country is at war, but I'm going to represent my country overseas. And because of him, Liberia was able to make it to 2 African Cup of Nations in succession. But we're not going to take your time. Make sure you go down, subscribe. Make sure you watch highlights on this guy, as I'm about to call his name. Check out his highlights. He was before Ronaldo, it was him. Before Samuel Eto'o, it was him. Before Roger Miller, I mean, this guy was from a different planet, in my opinion. I think he's an ET. He's an alien. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch his highlights. You gotta watch his highlights. He was not a joke. He turned Europe upside down. He embarrassed so many defenders. He did embarrass teams. And our selection, that selection is none other than the great George Money WEAH. I call him shocking Asia because he shocked not only Asia, but he shocked the whole world. George WEAH is our third best player. But those of you saying, why is he ahead of Messi or Ronaldo? Go and watch him. Check out his highlights. And I can bet you, I can assure you, if he was going to be recruited by Barcelona or Real Madrid at age 13, we won't even be having this conversation because he'd probably be sitting in the first place. He'd be the GOAT. Unfortunately, he didn't have that opportunity like most of our honorable mentions did not have that opportunity to be recruited at age 13. Great JJ Okocha, Abedi Pele, these guys, you know, Samuel Eto'o, these guys, Drogba, they didn't have that opportunity to be recruited at age 13, where you would sit for 4 years and watch big teams play right before you, and you got a chance to practice and learn vis-a-vis. Most of these guys didn't have it, especially the players from Africa or maybe South America. These guys had that opportunity. Trust me, the list won't be as it is right now. Probably this list would be a complete different, we'll have several different names there. But for now, I ask you to subscribe, follow, like, keep your notification on, because we're down to the last two. And once we name the second best player of all time, now you know who your GOAT is. And then we can start the debate. But for now, comment. I'm waiting for your comment. Hope you're having a great day, enjoying the hot sun. I'm wearing my Indian African attire today in the sun. I feel real happy and energized that we got our third peak. And to you, my man George WEAH, Shocking Asia, big ups, man. Have a great day, everyone.